This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, 5 o'clock, June the 14th. I'm Ray Collins. Jacqueline is off for the rest of the week. John Scalzi's in place with details of, could it be, John, another day of rain?
Go figure. Can you imagine? Here we are in June and we're going to get showers and thunderstorms.
Is this the summer rainy pattern already? Or
It sure is.
All
It is
right.
classic. It is classic. A southeasterly wind colliding with the sea breeze, building big storms inland and sending them to the coast. Can't get any more classic than that. And that's exactly what we'll have again today, it looks like. We had a big line of strong storms, lightning intense storms yesterday evening, building in inland areas, and then they gradually drifted to the coast as they kind of lessened in intensity. That'll be the same sort of situation again today. Look for the timing to be almost identical to yesterday. As far as the rainfall amounts go, probably very similar there as well. The atmosphere is just so juicy with moisture that we're going to see very heavy rain producing clouds later in the day. As far as the current conditions go, well, we have one little patch of drizzle that's moving into areas of Hillsborough County and kind of dissipating as it does, so that's really not going to be an issue for us. Not as much cloud cover around this morning as we've had over the last several mornings. It's still here, and certainly it'll be with us, but I think we'll probably see a little bit more sunshine today than we saw yesterday. Daytime highs will top out again warm, coming in near the 90-degree mark, and we'll look for that excellent chances of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. We'll talk about that, talk about the tropics as well, coming up in just a few minutes, right?
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking Suncoast traffic as it is right now. Not much to report. A little bit of a slowdown already, actually, on State Road 70 in both directions between 301 and I-75. Also, at this hour of the day, a buildup on Bee Ridge, heading westbound as you pass around the Shade and the east areas. And then south county map will show a little bit of a congestion on 41 northbound around Nokomis. 5:02 right now on your Wednesday morning. Our top story, a high-rise fire in London has caused a number of fatalities. It began overnight with flames burning through nearly every window in the building. In the early morning, there was a thick cloud of black smoke billowing from the high-rise. Witnesses saw people jumping from the building to save their lives. A major road in West London is closed in both directions while emergency crews are on the scene. No word yet how this massive fire began. We'll have more on this throughout the day on Good Morning Suncoast and here on ABC 7. Developing overnight, the investigation continues after a fire broke out at a Bradenton business. It happened about 7 o'clock last night on 26th Street West. The two-alarm fire spread through a mixed-use building right across from the Cedar Hammock Fire Department, making it easy for crews to respond quickly.
We saw smoke coming from the eaves and fire showing from an exterior window. So we called it in and came right over. Initial reports were heavy smoke coming from all the eaves and a fire in the center of the building.
Yeah, they got it across the street within a minute of the fire being reported. Thankfully, no one was inside the building at the time of the fire. Drug overdoses aren't just affecting people in Manatee County. As our Rick Adams tells us, they're also affecting dogs.
Canines are on the front lines of the fight against opioids and heroin, sometimes as much as sheriff deputies. This puts these skilled animals at risk to sniff and ingest drugs, causing a possible overdose. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office has just received a donation of 8 Narcan kits from a local family and 1 kit from the DeSoto Animal Clinic.
With the kit on hand, they can administer it and then, of course, get the dog to the veterinarian.
Narcan can help reverse a drug overdose in humans and animals. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office has 9 canine units, so the 9 donated injectable Narcan kits are now with each of those units.
It just gives them, a sense that, okay, if something happens, I've got something that could save my dog.
Saving dogs is something that Dr. Alanka Ambrose and her team at the Veterinary Emergency Center in Bradenton does well. She tells us she occasionally has had to rescue dogs from an overdose. Having Narcan available sometimes can be the difference between life and death.
We actually have it in a vial as an injection. We definitely do have that, always have that available. That's something we never don't have.
The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says that the canine unit has not had any dogs get sick from exposure to opioids, but they tell us thanks to the donations, they are now prepared if the situation calls for Narcan. In Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
The family that gave the Narcan to the sheriff's office could not be reached for comment. An unusual situation in Northport where shoppers saw an unconscious man in a car in the Walmart parking lot. They called Northport fire officials who were unable to resuscitate the man. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The medical examiner's office will try to figure out what caused the man's death. An update now on a police chief facing charges in connection with the death of a Punta Gorda woman. Chief Tom Lewis is going to trial next Friday. He is facing a second-degree misdemeanor charge of culpable negligence for the death of 73-year-old Mary Knowlton. He's accused of exposing Knowlton to personal injury during a citizen's shooting incident last August. She was fatally shot by former officer Lee Cowell during a role-playing demonstration. He was later fired. Chief Lewis is now on paid leave, and for the second time, his effort to get the case dismissed has been denied. In Venice, a little girl is in the hospital after being found unresponsive in a pool. Paramedics were called to a home on Villas Drive. Her family did CPR on the 4-year-old. She was awake and alert by the time help arrived. She was taken to Venice Regional Bayfront Health for treatment. Also in Venice, a $3 million bridge upgrade begins soon. The Florida Department of Transportation says crews will make repairs to the Circus Drawbridge on the south side of the island of Venice. They'll paint it, make small repairs, and replace the bridge deck and sidewalk. It'll begin in late June or early July and should be complete by the fall. We're at 5:07 right now. Real estate on Siesta Key is booming, they say, after the beach was named best in the country again. And with almost no land on which to build, companies are selling at record prices. Our Jess Dowdrick has a closer look.
If you're in the market for a home on Siesta Key, right now you only have 340 to choose from.
Usually we run 370, 380, 400.
About half of those are single-family homes. They're selling for anywhere between $412,000 to $17 million. The other half are condominiums. They're selling for anywhere between $256,000 to $4.3 million. Adam Robinson, owner of Key Realty, says property values continue to rise.
They've been going up on Siesta Key about 10% a year. At the end of May in 2015, the average price on Siesta Key was $504,000, $16,570, and $17,597.
Even at higher prices, the property is selling fast. On average, Robinson says Siesta Key homes are on the market for 60 days. There's virtually no land to build on left on the Key. So what's happening more often is
People are buying the homes to tear down the house and build a new house on the vacant lot. We're starting to see a lot of new construction on Siesta Key, again, especially in the lower priced older homes on the water.
Ann Frescura, executive director of the Chamber of Commerce on Siesta Key, says it's too early to tell what the long-term effects of the national attention will be. With Dr. Beach naming Siesta Key the #1 beach in the nation, this area could become a mecca for new homeowners, and that makes for good business for the island.
I think it does stand to reason when you're doing something extremely well, it does attract those who are like-minded.
Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
So get this, about 80 homes are being sold every month on Siesta Key compared to about 68 per month last year. The former Sarasota County deputy accused of stealing from and then trying to kill an elderly woman was back in court for a motion hearing yesterday. Frankie Bybee facing 25 charges, including attempted murder, exploitation, and fraud after a 79-year-old woman reported he was harassing her. Deputies say he stole $65,000 from her by writing checks to himself from her checkbook. Well, the prosecution did drop one of Bybee's fraud charges, but he still faces 13 others. He also has been declared indigent after evidence was presented that he was unable to pay his attorney fees. An update now on a controversial shopping plaza on University Parkway. A new shopping center called University Station will sit on the corner of University Parkway and Honore Avenue. A Whole Foods market will take up the majority of the space, but University Station will also have at least 4 other unknown retailers there as well. And right next door, construction starts on a new Wawa convenience store. The project should be finished by August of 2018. Developers had to fight protesters concerned about building on wetlands and a forest on that corner. Hundreds of snook are now in their new home in Philippi Creek this morning. Scientists at Mote Marine's Aquaculture Park in eastern Sarasota County tagged 480 juvenile snook, and they released the fish into Sarasota's Philippi Creek. It's all part of a research project that scientists hope will provide a better understanding of the environment where snook thrive the most. Scientists say those ecosystems include seawalls, natural shorelines, and areas with vegetation. However, over the years, red tide and cold snaps have caused a decrease in this fish population.
The reason that's so important to have that healthy habitat is because recreational saltwater fishing in Florida is an $8 billion a year industry. So fisheries are very important to Florida's economy. And if you don't have healthy habitat, you may not have those healthy fisheries.
Scientists say the reason it's so important to have these healthy habitats is because recreational saltwater fishing in Florida is an $8 billion a year industry, making fisheries crucial to the state's economy. Dozens of local nonprofits had a chance to recruit new volunteers at a first-of-its-kind volunteer fair in downtown Sarasota. The Sarasota County Library System sponsored the event at Selby Library. A wide range of nonprofits were on hand to meet with those interested in joining their organizations. The volunteer manager of Benderson Park said she was glad to be part of this inaugural event.
I think it's great that a lot of these different nonprofits have come out and have been able to showcase what they can offer to the community, and the response on all of the different community members that are coming in and out of this library has been great.
Organizers hope to make this an annual event. Happening tonight, the Military Officers Association of Sarasota and the Pops Orchestra are hosting a Flag Day celebration at the Sarasota National Cemetery. The groups will mark the 238th birthday of our nation's flag at 6 p.m. with a unique musical event focused on the origin and history of the flag. It is free, open to the public, who's invited to come early and see the artwork surrounding the Patriot Plaza and around the cemetery grounds as well. Don't forget, you can always connect with us on Facebook and our website, mysuncoast.com, or on Facebook at ABC7. Yesterday I was playing tennis about 6 p.m. and it was getting threatening and threatening, but it didn't rain yet. And then boom, a lightning and thunder strike happened. We were done. But it never rained near downtown Sarasota. Rained elsewhere, I know.
I got tons of rain at Southgate Circle.
Yeah.
There was tons of rain around there. I'll tell you what, it's Florida, rain on one side of the road and not on the other.
Literally.
It literally will. And this afternoon, I think we're looking at more of the same. We're going to have showers and thunderstorms building and kind of drifting back toward the coastline. So hopefully, you might be one of those that get a little bit of rainfall. I know my grass is growing about 6.5 feet in 2 days, so it's enjoying the little extra bit of nourishment. We'll look at the chances of a tropical development as well. That might be in the cards beginning next week. Yeah, it's already that time of year, right?
It certainly is.
Halfway through the month. Talk about that too in a minute.
Thank you, John. Also still ahead, a local mother helps others in the wake of her own tragedy. You'll meet this amazing Suncoast woman, Linda Carson. And the jury in the Bill Cosby trial will start another day trying to reach a verdict in that sexual assault trial. Stay with us.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, A smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today.
I'm Alan Cohn. Do dietary supplements work? Americans are increasingly using them, but what do experts have to say about these pills and powders?
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we are looking at an air temperature that again is coming in warm at 74 degrees. Dew point is still high, up in the 70s at 72. I don't think we're going to see much change in that the rest of the work week. A little bit of cloud cover out there, but also a little less cloud cover perhaps than we have seen over the last several mornings. We still have a wind that is generally out of the east at about 8. That it will be unchanging today, maybe shifting a little more southeast perhaps as we head into the afternoon. We'll watch the pressure fall this afternoon as those showers and thunderstorms once again build in inland areas. 71 Wauchula, 72 Arcadia, 71 Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, 73 degrees in Northport, 72 degrees in Punta Gorda. We have 74 degrees in Venice, Inglewood at 74, and 74 degrees out at Longboat Key. Yesterday, we got some pretty good rainfall. Mostly east of the interstate is where the heaviest rains started and built and grew, where they became a very intense line of storms, requiring a special statement from the Weather Service to be issued due to the amount of lightning and the torrential rain and gusty winds that were associated with those storms as they built. Rainfall amounts are impressive once again today. 3-inch rainfall is not uncommon under the heaviest core of rainfall shafts, and we're looking at 3-inch rainfall. It's pretty consistent east of the interstate. I think we may see that again today. These will again be relatively slow-moving storms, so they can produce a lot of rainfall, and they will tend to have the heaviest of the rain occur on the other side of the interstate. High pressure has sunk a little further south today, and consequently we have fewer clouds around than we've had over the last several days. I've knocked down the rain chances just a little bit by about 10% or so, but I still think we'll see rain showers around today. Just perhaps a little fewer in number. I think the further south you go, the better your rain chances will be. Right now, everything is very quiet. Morning commute should be A-OK. No issues here. There have been a little bit of drizzle occurring in inland areas of Manatee County, Hardy and DeSoto counties as well. So watch those roadways. They could be a little bit slick this morning. High pressure, as I mentioned, has dropped a little bit further to the south in response to areas of disturbed weather north of that, and it has brought us probably today some slightly lighter winds. I think the sea breeze front may start a little bit earlier. Our showers and thunderstorms may build a little bit earlier than they did yesterday, but basically these are subtle little differences. We're basically in the same pattern, and we basically are going to see the same sort of weather today and tomorrow and the day after as well, really. Looking at sun cloud mix, afternoon thunderstorms, slightly less wind. Perhaps the thunderstorms start at 3 or 4 o'clock instead of 4 or 5 o'clock. That's about the only difference. We'll watch the RPM computer model forecast, put it into motion. Showers around. The sea breeze perhaps a little stronger today. Look for those showers to dissipate by certainly mid-evening, 8, 9 o'clock, they'll be gone. And then tomorrow, we will do it all over again with showers and thunderstorms likely in the forecast. Looking for a daytime high today that tops out warm, coming in at around 90 with about a 50% chance of showers today, 40% tomorrow. And we'll watch the tropics Monday and Tuesday of next week. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. There's the roads right now in Manatee County. First off, we'll see in Manatee County at State Road 64, seeing some activity already in the westbound lanes just west of the interstate. Also, Bee Ridge Road, relatively busy at this hour of the day at Beneva particularly. Of course, an ongoing construction project there on that vital road, Bee Ridge. And then South County, not much to report at 5:21 on your Wednesday morning. A local mother lost her son to epilepsy, but she turned that incredible grief into a foundation to help other families. Linda Carson has an amazing Suncoast woman.
Sandy Chapnick grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, graduated from Ohio State, and married her husband, Bruce, whom she'd met on a blind date.
I worked as medical technology, teaching medical technology, not in the laboratory. I also taught second-year medical students laboratory procedures.
The couple had a daughter and a son. In 1994, they moved to Sarasota. Josh went to Riverview High, and Sandy became Riverview's volunteer coordinator.
In 1998, I was recognized by the state. I won the Adult Volunteer of the Year for our region in Florida.
She went on to manage the Sarasota County School District's Volunteer and Business Partnership Program and develop and manage the district's Reading Tutor Program. Josh began having epileptic seizures.
His first seizure in 1996 was on the soccer bus and in front of the varsity team. They were on their way to Naples for a game.
The epilepsy hit him hard, but Josh went on to graduate from the University of Pittsburgh, a culinary school in Palm Beach, and to get a second degree in hotel management.
Right before he died, he was working 2 jobs.
When he didn't show up for 2 days, Josh was found dead in his home, killed in a fall during an epileptic seizure. To deal with their grief, Sandra and Bruce started the Josh Provides Epilepsy Assistance Foundation to help others with epilepsy.
We're also providing seizure detection dogs and response dogs, still doing transportation, still doing prescription drugs. We do awareness programs. We try to educate the community.
And they offer the only epilepsy support group in Sarasota. It helps them heal.
To know that you're really bringing comfort and a quality of life back to people. It might not be perfect, but it's better than what it was. And people are very grateful.
And her life lesson?
Help other people. Reaching out to others, I think, has rescued my husband and I. And it really has saved us. This foundation has saved us.
They can do so much to help people who are living with epilepsy. If you'd like more information, go to joshprovides.org. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Sandy and Bruce doing some great work for other families with epilepsy in the area. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, put away your license and don't worry about that boarding pass. High technology to the rescue. We'll have a story. And at 5:33, the latest on a high-rise fire in London that killed residents inside. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better. With amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Well, this is the top story of the day. A massive blaze engulfs a 27-floor high-rise in London. This is near Notting Hill. The death toll has not been added up right now, but many people were trapped inside this high-rise. The fire broke out last night. Some 200 firefighters responded. This is a live picture now from London of that blaze, a towering inferno. We'll have much more throughout the morning, including on Good Morning America, which will go live to London for this tragedy in Europe. The days of fumbling for your ID and boarding pass at the airport might be coming to an end. In today's High-Tech Bites, a high-tech way to check in for your flights.
In today's Tech Bites, boarding a plane with just the touch of a finger.
Yeah, TSA is testing a system to identify passengers with fingerprints rather than boarding passes. The tryouts are in Denver and Atlanta right now. Only people already taking part in the pre-check system are eligible.
Apple CEO confirms his company is working on software for self-driving cars. Tim Cook tells Bloomberg the tech giant is focusing on autonomous systems as opposed to an Apple vehicle.
And a woman's iPhone screen is getting a lot of attention because apparently it is so organized.
Yeah, Sarah Fisher's posted the picture on Twitter. It shows all of her apps not only organized into groups, but if you notice, they're color coordinated. It's getting several retweets. Some are calling it genius. I'm calling it the opposite of what my phone looks like.
I'm calling it she has a lot of time on her hands. Well, those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Chantix.
I'm Thomas, and I quit smoking with Chantix. I was very grateful to have Chantix. At times when I would normally go smoke, I just didn't. It's kind of like, wait a minute, I would normally be running out the door to go grab a cigarette.
Along with support, Chantix Varenicline is proven to help people quit smoking.
Chantix reduced my urge to smoke.
When you try to quit smoking, with or without Chantix, you may have nicotine withdrawal symptoms. Some people had changes in behavior or thinking, aggression, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, or suicidal thoughts or actions with Chantix. Serious side effects may include seizures, new or worse heart or blood vessel problems, sleepwalking, or allergic and skin reactions, which can be life-threatening. Stop Chantix and get help right away if you have any of these. Tell your healthcare provider if you've had depression or other mental health problems. Decrease alcohol use while taking Chantix. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. The most common side effect is nausea.
Thank you, Chantix.
Ask your doctor if Chantix is right for you. Many insurance plans cover Chantix for a low or $0 copay.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
For years, I told everyone my Craftmatic adjustable bed was the greatest until I got the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has an adjustable pillow feature that's awesome. You're gonna want one too when you see how little they cost.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest, bedside power plugs, underbed night lights, and more. Available in all mattress types with optional heat and soothing massage for as much as half the price of Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. Adjust the rising pillow feature to help align your head, neck, and shoulders. See for yourself with our 30-day in-home trial. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You gotta see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-237-0214. That's 1-800-237-0214. Call 1-800-237-0214. Call now.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
This half hour on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest on a deadly fire in a 27-story high-rise in London. A Pennsylvania jury remains behind closed doors. Another day in the sexual assault trial against Bill Cosby. And Congress wants to make it easier to fire employees who aren't working hard enough for veterans. Your Suncoast News starts right now.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, 5:32. I'm Ray Collins. Jacqueline is off today. We're joining with John Scalzi. And John, at some point we went from having a lot of rain to now being into the typical rainy pattern that we get every summer here in Sarasota.
Yeah, for about a week or two there, we had a kind of odd weather pattern for the state of Florida in June, but that's gone now, and we're back to our sea breeze thunderstorms in the afternoon. A little bit different today. We have an area of high pressure that's kind of sunk a little bit further to the south, reducing the amount of cloud cover that we have this morning, and rain showers are just not in the forecast for your morning commute. Now, on the drive home, different story. You'll probably see a few thunderstorms around, some of them producing heavy rain. A little bit more sunshine today. That'll probably get our sea breeze going a bit earlier, and we'll probably see the onset of shower and thunderstorm activity occur an hour or so earlier than it did yesterday. That complete forecast for you coming up in just a few, Ray.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. That's the situation right now in Manatee County. Some buildups already on State Road 64 in both directions around the Braden River. Farther south, we'll check the map in Sarasota County. We do see an issue that has sprung up on US 41. It is at Myrtle Street, the northbound lane, in fact, closed right now. Myrtle Street northbound closed at US 41. We'll track that throughout the morning. Very busy road right there. And then South County maps, nothing to report at 5:34 on your Wednesday morning. Our top story, it's being called the worst fire in London in at least 10 years. A towering inferno broke out, resulting in death and injury to residents inside. The latest from Reed Binion.
In my 29 years of being a firefighter, I have never, ever seen anything of this scale.
London fire officials reacting to the massive, deadly blaze that engulfed an apartment high-rise Wednesday. The fire spreading quickly through the 24-story West London apartment block.
Within 15 minutes, the whole right side from where I was standing was alight. Within about, I'd say, within an hour, it had engulfed the top half of, or the top end of the apartments.
Flames spewing from nearly every window. Authorities launching an evacuation and a major emergency plan, including hundreds of firefighters, scores of trucks, and well over a dozen ambulances, amid fears that some were still trapped inside. The flames erupted in the pre-dawn hours Wednesday morning. Many of the building's residents likely asleep when the fire broke out.
I heard people screaming, I heard people shouting.
Witnesses describing people leaping from the burning building.
What was going through my mind is just want to save my family. I saw people jumping out the window, man. It was crazy. Saw people jumping out the window.
The hulking towers smoking in the daylight as firefighters prevailed against flames later in the morning. Area hospitals taking in dozens of patients. Officials releasing a statement saying the tower, built in the 70s, had been undergoing major refurbishment. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
In Washington, Congress is approving legislation that will make it easier for the Department of Veterans Affairs to fire employees accused of misconduct. The House cleared the bipartisan bill that lowers the burden of proof needed to terminate employees in the VA. It'll also speed up the process of disciplining employees. It comes after a 2014 scandal at the Phoenix VA where some veterans died while waiting for appointments. The Senate already approved the bill last week. It now goes to the president's desk for his signature later on this week. An update now on the biggest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history, Bernie Madoff. The Justice Department is agreeing to review the delay in reimbursing victims of Madoff's investment scheme. Madoff pled guilty in 2009 to running the scheme after he stole $65 billion from 5,000 investors. The Justice Department created a $4 billion fund for the victims, but so far no money has been paid out. Area Congressman Vern Buchanan recently sent a letter to the Attorney General's office asking for a closer look at the delay. Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in a North Carolina prison. 2 Georgia inmates on the run this morning after one of them allegedly shot and killed 2 officers during a prison transfer. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office says 43-year-old Donnie Rowe and 24-year-old Ricky DeBose somehow got through a locked gate inside a prison bus, overpowered and disarmed the guards, and shot and killed them. They later carjacked that green Honda. Police say the inmates are armed with semi-automatic handguns taken from the officers.
They need to surrender before we find them. I saw 2 brutally murdered corrections officers. That's what I saw. I have their blood on my shoes.
Both men are career criminals. 31 other inmates were on board the bus at the time. They stayed on the bus and even provided assistance to the guards. 5:37 right now. Jury deliberations resumed this morning in Bill Cosby's sexual assault trial. This will be the start of day 3 for jurors. They asked the judge for clarification of a deposition Cosby gave more than a decade ago in a civil case. They also asked for some clarity about a charge, or rather a change, in connection to Cosby giving Andrea Constant pills without her knowledge. The jury wanted a clearer definition of that, but the judge told them they had to figure it out for themselves. Prosecutors say the comedian drugged and sexually assaulted Constant at his home back in 2004. He is pleading not guilty to 3 charges of aggravated indecent assault. If convicted, he could face up to 30 years behind bars. Passengers on a United Airlines flight got quite a scare last night after their plane made an emergency landing in Tallahassee. The plane was going from Miami to Chicago, and passengers said they became concerned about a smoky smell from the cockpit. Pilots diverted the plane and landed in North Florida. United Airlines described the cause for the emergency as a maintenance issue. No injuries were reported. A former police officer is now in custody after a standoff with deputies in Fort Pierce. Investigators say it happened yesterday after the former officer's girlfriend called 911. Deputies say the man barricaded himself in a pickup truck and threatened to harm himself. After 10 hours of negotiations, he finally came out with his hands held up.
He was going through a lot of personal things in his life, and I told him I know what that feels like. We all know the pain that sometimes can affect these law enforcement officers, and I said, we're all one big family, we're here to take care of you, and he kind of just felt relieved that it was all over.
The sheriff says the next step is getting the man some help. New changes to Florida's controversial Stand Your Ground law will make it harder to prosecute those who claim they used violence in self-defense. Governor Scott recently signed a bill into law that shifts the burden of proof. It now requires prosecutors to prove defendants were not acting in self-defense. If prosecutors do not have clear evidence that rules out self-defense, the defendant will not face trial. While some believe it'll increase the number of stand-your-ground cases in the state, others argue it won't have any effect outside the court system.
But I think average citizen ought to be a little bit concerned that we have somewhat getting back to that Wild Wild West mentality where somebody looks at you wrong, you pull your gun out.
It's not going to increase the number of people that are carrying. It's going to make people think before they use it. It's not going to be like the Wild Wild West where you're going to go out and just take the gun out and use it.
Florida is the first state in the country to shift the burden of proof. Florida doctors have won a lengthy legal battle in the Docs versus Glocks law. Last month, the state did not appeal a federal court ruling striking down major parts of the law. The decision comes 6 years after Florida lawmakers passed a measure which tried to stop doctors from asking patients about their guns. It places several restrictions on doctors and healthcare providers.
Our motive is not to take away their guns or to in any way interfere with their ability to own and use guns. Our whole issue is let's just talk about how to keep that child of yours safe.
The court found the record-keeping, inquiry, and anti-harassment provisions of the law are unconstitutional, but upheld the portion of the law that bars doctors from discriminating against patients who have guns. Governor Scott finished celebrating the end of the special session by touring the state as part of his Fighting for Florida's Future Victory Tour. He highlighted the $215 million increase in funding for public schools, as well as the $76 million that will go toward boosting tourism throughout Florida. He also spoke about the impact of a new $85 million grant that will fund job growth.
Next, we have a different way to do economic development. It's a flexible, transparent program. It's going to focus on infrastructure. It's going to focus on job training. It's $85 million where we work hard to make sure we continue to create an environment where every company knows they want to be headquartered or do business in our great state.
The governor visited Miami, West Palm Beach, Fort Myers, Tampa, and Jacksonville as part of his 5-city tour. 4 Miami fishermen are safe this morning thanks to the U.S. Coast Guard and law enforcement agencies. Their boat capsized off a channel near Miami Beach and Fisher Island yesterday. One of the fishermen says water somehow got inside the boat and it began to sink. There it goes. Fortunately, one of them had an iPhone with a waterproof case, and they called 911. A crew with Miami-Dade Fire got there in 15 minutes, and they brought the fishermen onto their boat. When other crews arrived, they took the fishermen to a nearby marina. Boy, that waterproof case came in handy.
You're not kidding.
Those work, apparently. Yeah.
It sure did. I have a fear about drowning somehow or another.
I understand, sure.
Yeah. After reading The Perfect Storm. Did you ever read that book, Perfect Storm? Younger, he gives about a 15-page description of what it's like to drown.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
It's fright. It's a great book. Great book. Good read. Good summer read.
Was that a movie also?
Yeah, they made it into a movie too. Yeah. It also had some local ties here as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're looking at some weather here building again in the afternoon. Maybe even some tropical weather next week. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay. Also, still ahead. Summer is here, and that means spending time with friends and family. But what can you do to make sure you protect yourself from potentially dangerous bug bites? We'll tell you in Health Smart.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Looking at an air temperature coming in already kind of warm at 74 degrees. We have a dew point value coming in at 72. Hot, thick air out there. Thick, humid air. And you know what? That's going to lead again today to showers and thunderstorms. And because the air is so humid for the entire column of the atmosphere, you're going to get those heavy downpours of rain. One more time again today. Not a whole lot has changed except that some high pressure has sunk a little further south, which could actually reduce the intensity of some of the storms that formed today compared to 24 hours ago, but it's a subtle difference. 73 degrees, Wauchula, Arcadia, Mayaca Parish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch. Almost the same in Punta Gorda at 72, 74 degrees in Northport, and along the coastline, 76 degrees at Longboat Key, 75 in Venice and in Inglewood. So we had some pretty good rainfall yesterday. Heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning associated with some of these storms as they lined up right along the interstate and produced rainfall rates that exceeded 3 inches in some places, according to Doppler radar estimates. All of that gradually drifted to the coastline and kind of dissipated as it did so. The intensity of the lightning lessened, the downpour of the rain lessened, and generally speaking, you had an inch or less close to the coastline. Inland, that's where it really poured. And you will probably see a very similar sort of pattern develop again today. Now, a little less cloud cover around this morning as that high pressure ridge has sunk a little bit further to the south. So we'll get a little bit more sunshine, and I think that will help to build our sea breeze a little bit earlier today, and we'll probably notice the onset of showers a little bit earlier in the day than we saw yesterday. We've got a little bit of sprinkles coming from some of the cloud cover around, but it's really not a big deal. You may see some patchy fog out there this morning. Possibly it's not really all that big a problem. Titan radar picking up some echoes in inland areas, but really not a big deal. High pressure sinks south. Winds will be out of the east again today, and we will have that excellent chances of showers and thunderstorms again, though not quite as high as they were yesterday. We'll put them at 50% still, and then tomorrow at about 40% for a few days into the weekend, and then we'll bump them back up next week as we keep an eye on the tropics. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. Talk to you soon. Checking Manatee County first off on the maps. You'll see a little bit of slowdown there just north of the river in northern Manatee County. Checking farther south down the map, still an issue on 41 northbound. It says the road is closed at Myrtle Street. Now that will cause some issues as the morning commute begins in earnest, so be aware of that. You might want to take 301 northbound if that might affect you. On our South County map, nothing to show at this hour at 5:50 on your Wednesday morning. In this hour's Health Smart, summer often means bug bites or stings. Most result in mild local reactions. But as Kim Hutcherson tells us, after all, ticks can infect you with Lyme disease, and mosquitoes can transmit West Nile or Zika.
The warmer temperatures of late spring and summer mean more outdoor activities, so make sure you and your loved ones are protected against insect bites and stings. Here are some tips from the American Academy of Pediatrics and the CDC. Avoid sweet-smelling sprays, lotions, or hair products when outdoors. Wear insect repellent containing DEET, but don't apply it more than once a day, and don't use it on children younger than 2 months. Never spray repellent directly on your face. Use your hands to apply it, and avoid the mouth, eyes, and ears, along with cuts and irritated skin. Never allow children to handle or apply bug spray. Use soap and water to wash repellent off as soon as you come back indoors. If a rash or other reaction develops, call your healthcare provider if it's mild, or call the Poison Control Center for guidance if it's severe. If you have concerns about using DEET, ingredients like picaridin, oil of lemon eucalyptus, and IR3535 are alternatives. And if you prefer to go chemical-free, hats, closed shoes, long pants tucked into socks, and a long-sleeve shirt can help protect you from a variety of insects. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Good reminders there. 5:51, still heading Good Morning Suncoast. SeaWorld welcomes a baby walrus. We'll have the story after this.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Not yet known in London. Back on the Suncoast, a much smaller fire in comparison. A building on 26th Street West happened across the street from Cedar Hammock Fire Station. Also this morning, a Military Officers Association and Pops Orchestra will have a Flag Day celebration. The program is free and open to the public. It starts at 6 p.m. tonight at the Sarasota National Cemetery. And look at this, SeaWorld has a new member of the family, a baby walrus, the first ever born at the park. Its mother gave birth yesterday. Mother and calf under 24-hour care to make sure they're in good health before being put on display. Even walruses are cute, John.
That could not be any cuter. That could not be. That full little mustache on that little baby there.
Already grew a mustache.
That is adorable. Oh, look at that.
That little kiss there, mother and
is
calf.
Adorable. They grow up to be
big,
testy.
That's right. Stephanie Roberts joins us next. Stay with us, folks.